color mic is there?
Yes, so we will have handheld mic.
Okay, handheld mic is good enough. So, good morning, everyone, and I'm extremely grateful to NEGD for giving us this opportunity to make this presentation. And just to start with, in the session before, there was a reference to one of the speakers how this name matching was not happening because of the presence of two dots, right? Now, we have tackled this issue. So we have something called a fuzzy logic and intelligent matching. And depending on the comfort level of banks, so we have a matching of say 85%. And so this takes care of such kind of minor mismatches. In fact, depending on the comfort level of banks, some banks say that we want 100% matching. So then we can go for 100% also. But gradually most banks have moved around to around 85% matching, which takes care of these minor discrepancies. And so execution failure does not happen for this, and the customer experience gets enhanced. As we saw it happen in a case of a dignitary also, that these minor variations come in the name. So I thought I'll just start with that observation from morning's session. Somebody will just need to help me with this.
So the boys are coming.
So just to start with an introduction about us, and you see the name is quite similar to NEGD. So we are National E-Governance Services Limited, and we are India's first information utility and is regulated by the provisions of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and our regulator is IBBI. And we have shareholding across major banks, insurance companies, and we also have a depository CDSL as one of our shareholders. And I'd just like to stress on the fact that carrying the national word in our name, we are committed to national priorities. For example, taking care of the concerns of MSMEs, driving financial inclusion schemes, and all our services are easily accessible as also affordable in nature. So we have the word national in our name, and accordingly we do ensure that national priorities are given due importance. A little bit about our genesis. So we are part of the IBC ecosystem. IBC is of course the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, and it's often commonly thought that the IBC is about recovery of bad loans. But as I state in the title of this slide, it is a paradigm, it's a new paradigm for resolution and revival. And just for information for all in this very compact group, that the objective of IBC is also promoting entrepreneurship as also availability of credit. If you want to know how the IBC does that, maybe I will address this at the end of the session. But at this point in time, I would suffice to state that on the right hand side, as you can see, the three distinct features of our company, National E-Governance Services Limited, is that our services are time bound. Time is of the essence in IBC proceedings, and so it is with us. We are digital in nature, we'll see that later. And finally, governance. And incidentally, the word governance appears in our name as well as that of NEGD, and so that's why it's very important for us. In the subsequent slide, I'll talk about the unique features of the information utility, but This itself is the most standout feature of the information utility, that it facilitates a two-way communication. So whenever a financial creditor submits information to the information utility, the system automatically generates an email to the other parties. We call it concerned parties to the debt. The concerned parties could be the debtor, it could be the obligant, it could be the guarantor. So the debtor and guarantor are immediately aware that his creditor has reported an information, and he is given an opportunity to give his views. If he agrees with the information submitted by the creditor, and if he wants to dispute, he is also given an opportunity to give his views regarding the dispute, as also the nature of the dispute, the reason why he does not agree with the information submitted by the financial creditor, which could be a bank, it could also be an operational creditor. I mean, a person who is supplying goods or services on credit. So this repository facilitates a two-way communication between the submitter of the information and the concerned parties to the debt. The submitter of information is usually the creditor, but it could also be a debtor. The uniqueness about the IU is that it facilitates all parties to a transaction to avail the services of the information utility. In the next slide, I will cover what are the other unique features of the information utility. Sorry. Yeah. So as I stated, that information utility is a very unique institution, is a institution of, I would say it's a national infrastructure institution. And if you're curious to know that how is it unique, how is it different, how it stands apart, so these are some of the features. One, that identification of a submitter has to be done before submission of any information. It is digital and paperless. I think in the session before this also there was reference to that how digital and paperless also makes it sustainable. It promotes sustainability. A digital signature is required to submit information, and since it's submitted through a digital signature, the information which is submitted to the information utility is of evidentiary value. The second line, the first box, legally enforceable in digital form. And this is an extremely important element, because very commonly when you talk of digital, we also sometimes, thinking of scanned documents. A scanned documents is actually not admissible in a court of law. In fact, there was a recent judgment in NCLT just 2 days back, in which the respondent contested the submission of photocopied documents, and ultimately the court said that it had to be notarized, only then it could be acceptable. But in the case of documents which are executed on the NESL platform, it can be accepted as it is in digital form. No separate notarization, certification, signature on top of the document is required. So that's why I say here, legally enforceable in digital form. And the second box on the second row, that it provides a opportunity, a provision. The information utility has a provision for non-regulated entities to submit information. Regulated entity refers to usually an entity which is regulated by a financial services regulator, like a bank, an NBFC, an asset reconstruction company. A non-regulated entity could be any other company which is registered under the Companies Act. It could be a proprietorship firm, it could be a proprietorship firm, it could be individual. So all these are non-regulated entities. So information utility is one repository which gives a forum for non-regulated entities to also submit information, to see that their voice is also heard. And finally, the last box on the second row which is access to authorized persons only. So information literacy is not a public credit repository. It's not available to all. It is available to authorized persons as provided in law. But the beauty of it is that the owner of the data can also provide access to the persons whom he considers it's required. I'll give you an example. If you want to avail a loan from a bank, then you can tell the information utility, look, I want to avail a loan from ABC Bank. Please provide access of my data in the information utility to ABC Bank. So although the access is to authorized persons, but authorized persons can in turn delegate this power to anyone else whom he feels should have access to that information. Now in the next slide, I'll talk about the bouquet of services which we provide. And as stated earlier, it is digital solutions. The first column is that of the data services. Incidentally, the law provides that information utility should accept financial information, and financial information includes both data and documents. So in the first column, I'm talking about the data services of the information utility, and information utility serves as a repository of financial information, and it's submitted by, as I had stated before, financial and operational creditors. And as I stated earlier, it has a provision for all the concerned parties to the debt to verify and authenticate information. So that's one important feature. The second important feature is that it provides alerts to users of a default by debtors. The default may not be to them, it may be default to other creditors. But as an advance alert, such alerts, such advices are provided as a proactive measure to also as a part of proactive risk management. And finally, the information utility also issues something called a record of default. So this helps in establishing default when a creditor intends to start insolvency proceedings against a debtor. So this record of default is a conclusive way to establish default in case a creditor intends to start insolvency proceedings against a debtor. Now I'll come to the second column. So that's about digital document execution services. So it is a whole new way of contract execution. It's a digital, it's paperless, and leads to reduction in costs and also saving time. How do you save costs? It's simply because people do not need to travel. Costs of storage are reduced. It is saves time because it doesn't require multiple signatures. It doesn't require the executants of a document to travel to the place of execution. Execution of document can be done in digital form seamlessly from any place. And of course, this uses India's superior DPI, which gives every person with a valid Aadhaar to power to digitally sign a document. And very interestingly, I was sharing with my my partner, my friend, my business relationship, that yesterday we launched face authentication, and this is possibly one of the few instances where face authentication is actually being used to execute a transaction. We use face auth for many purposes. For example, accessing a, if you're an iPhone, you could use face auth to access your iPhone. But today we are using face auth linked to Aadhaar to actually execute a transaction. So we've launched this into production, and I'm sure one of our, esteemed relationships here will be the first to launch. And of course, this mode of document execution is end-to-end paperless contracting. More than 30 plus lending institutions, reduced TAT from days to a few minutes. And finally, we also have this electronic bank guarantee, which is part of digital document execution, but we have shown it separately for two reasons. One, a bank guarantee, as many of you, some of you are bankers, I know, are aware that a bank guarantee is executed only by a bank. A digital document execution can be executed by, any of us here who's taking a loan from a bank, but a bank guarantee is executed only by a bank. And a bank guarantee was one of the few instruments which had largely remained physical despite the fact there was rapid digitization in the rest of the banking space. So that's why I've shown this separately. And I'll just give you some statistics in respect of each of these products. In the first product, the data submission, there are 4 crore plus records, and incidentally, there are more than 2.5 crore debtors. Not sure how many users are there on DigiLocker, but on our platform, we have 2.5 lakh debtors whose information is submitted. And we have more than 1,000 financial institutions who are submitting information to the information utility. And the remaining data about digital document execution is already there. You can see at the bottom of the screen. So these numbers are also quite substantial. And finally, all these 3 services, the data sits in a central repository as a company which carries national in its name. There's a lot of responsibility on us. Our data center is almost similar to a bank. We have a DR center, and we go to great lengths to ensure that the information which stays with us is secure and safe. So I had stated in the first part of the slide about identification of the user takes place before any kind of service happens, which we call this entity registration. And it could be individual registration also, but right now we're talking of entity registration because that is the first aspect we are talking to NEGD about. And this is how the process is. PAN is verified, the KYC documents are done, like board resolution. The entity registration happens in 2 parts. One, the entity needs to be identified, and then also the user needs to be identified. The user, the authorized user who is to represent that entity. And subsequently the validation is done, and after due validation of both the entity and the user, the authorized user who will represent that entity, then the activation is done. And this is one area which we are going to work with NEGD to see how we can make this process further seamless. Now, this is the area of collaboration we are working about. I had earlier spoken about bank guarantees and how this process had largely remained physical despite the rapid digitization in all banking services. So now we have launched this e-bank guarantee. So 37 banks are using it, more than 57,000 EBGs issued. It is secure, tamper-proof repository, and complete EBG lifecycle management can be done. What is lifecycle management? A BG has many stages. There are bankers here would be aware, but for the benefit of others, a BG has many stages. For example, it could be a renewal, it could be amendment, it could be a cancellation, it could be an invocation, it could be partial invocation. So this repository facilitates all such events in a fully digital form. And as part of this entity locker, some details are here. 68,000 entities registered, 46 plus user authorities, pan-India adoption, trusted document platform. As part of this integration, we are proposing that our EBGs would also be available through the entity locker platform, and the benefits of the same, of course, I will address it in the subsequent slides. So this is how it proposed, and as of now, our e-bank guarantee can be accessed to 3 modes. Of course, you can come on to the platform, at the NESL platform, and access the EBGs. And we also have something called NEAS, which is NESL Enterprise Access System, in which many large corporates have integrated to NESL through secure APIs in which they can access the EBGs through their own IT systems, so that is NES. Then we also have various government portals like JEPNIC. We also have the Karnataka procurement portal. So these portals have integrated with NESL, and through this integration, these portals are able to view the EBG directly. They are able to pull the EBG directly into the systems, and the beneficiaries can access the EBGs in the procurement portal. So that is the three modes of access we already have. We have one of the largest users of EBGs, our platform, who's represented here. And finally, we also have, I think the screen has gone off. Never mind, I think I'll continue speaking. I hope I'm able to bring it across. Yeah. So now we also propose to have a fourth way of access of EBG, which is through our entity locker. I think it will be a great benefit to the ecosystem in the sense that it is through one portal you can access all your documents, and of the detailed, we'll see more details in the subsequent slides. Sorry. Yeah. So this is broadly how the system will flow, and effectively it means that first a person, when he's able to log in through Entity Locker, and he will raise a request to for the BG, and Entity Locker he will the PAN will be validated, and then it moves to NESL. NESL will validate the request. It will check whether the EBG is there, and we'll check for the consent. As a regulated entity, this consent process is extremely important for us. So after the consent is confirmed, then the EBG will be shared with the with Entity Locker, and Entity Locker in turn will share it with the user. And this is how the screen will look like. This is Entity Locker screen, and subsequently, if you can see, there's a portal for EBG services, and all our working is based on PAN. So a PAN would need to be provided here, and as of now, it is based on the specific EBG reference number. But at a later date, I am sure we can work out a system where if you only provide the PAN, the details of all BGs should be available. But as of now, it works on the BG reference number, and the event type, as I said, that the BG has many events like the issuance, the renewal, and once these details are provided, and then the screen will show the EBG or the amendment as is requested for, and the user can in turn download the same. So this is how it is a kind of meeting of the two e-governance systems, National E-Governance Services Limited, National E-Governance Division, and it is based on a secure basis, which is the PAN verification, because our system also works on PAN, and once the PAN is verified and the consents are established, so then the BG is made available through the Entity Locker. Yeah, so this is the brief of the collaboration, and as I stated before, the advantage is that there will be a single platform for all financial documents. I think the list of documents we had seen earlier about the number of documents available on Entity Locker, so EBG would be one more document would be available. There will be seamless ecosystem integration, real-time verification. Verification of EBG is extremely important to ensure that the document is correct. There will be ease of doing business, and of course it provides 24/7 access to whom? To banks, to beneficiaries, to applicants, and in case it's a government department, through the government portals. Sorry, I think some issues in this. Now, this is one area where we are in advanced discussions about making EBGs accessible through the entry locker. But there are many other areas where the possibilities are there, and this is one forum where we can discuss such possibilities. And one of them is our document execution. So today the document execution happens when NESL sends a link, but sometimes users feel a bit of discomfort in getting links on emails. So one possibility is that we could make this available through the DigiLocker. DigiLocker, we have so many users, and so the link could be made available on DigiLocker, and then the documents to be executed can be pulled through the DigiLocker portal, and then authentication can happen, and the document, of course, gets stored in DigiLocker. So this is one area of possible collaboration going forward. And there's another area is about data authentication. As we discussed in the first few slides, that any information, the information utility has to be authenticated, or rather there's a provision for authentication, there's a provision for the concerned parties to the debt to accept or dispute the information. So as of now, we have more than 1,000 submitters of information. There are more than 4 crore debt records. And the provision as on date is that the borrowers have to, the debtors or the bank or the co-applicants have to log on to the portal and then authenticate this information. So if this authentication mode is also available on the DigiLocker platform, so it could also be a way, a customer user-friendly way of doing the authentication process, and which could also serve the legal process, because the DigiLocker also has a very secure way of providing access. So these are the 2 areas which we are working on. And there's one area also which is, I think there's a lot of, just let me know about the time. I hope I'm okay with time.
So you're over by 5 minutes.
Over 5 minutes, okay. I'm sorry. So I'll just quickly run through this. And I think the audience has been a very, very avid listener. Thank you so much. So I didn't realize it was over. No impatience. Thank you. So entry lockers PAN validation could also be very useful for us, because as I said, as a regulated entity for us, like a bank, entity onboarding is extremely important. It's a one-time process, but right now we feel it is rigorous, but some feel that it might be a bit time-consuming. So this PAN validation, which can be done through entity locker, could really help the process. So that's about it. Let's see if we have something. One final point, and I think this was addressed in the morning, that how digital can and paperless could also make it environment friendly. And till date, this 1.91 crore documents which we have done have led to saving of 51,000 trees. And one concluding point which I would like to make, I see many youngsters here, and we have some of my age also. So what I would say is that we all have a duty to leave to our young generation the earth as we got it from our forefathers. So let us do this little bit to help the young people here, that we should leave the earth at least the way we got it from our forefathers. And one way we could do it by adopting digital and saving trees. Thank you very much for patiently listening.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, the floor is open for 2-3 questions.
Yeah. So since you are connected with PAN-based thing, etc., and nowadays you know the number of cases in the courts are more than 5.25 crores. The number of cases in the country is 5.25 crore, and if the Modi government wants that economy to touch 5 trillion and then 10 trillion, the entrepreneurship and business smoothing is very important. So a big question is of default in payments by the debtors. Why not you take care of that, or you take that initiative? In case one check is bounced, then his all accounts should be blocked till the time that is not being paid. And if you do that, I think the lot of money the government can save, and it will be smoothen the business strategy, and it will motivate the entrepreneur as well. And this is the need of the hour, I think.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You have touched upon a very, very raw chord, and I'll address this in many ways.
My name is Abhay Chandalia,
Okay.
and I am founder of a Share Samadhan Limited. We are a listed company.
Yeah,
We
fantastic.
get lot many cases on this, so that is why.
Yeah. So let me address it in many ways. First part is, suppose, for default, you don't even have to go to court. That's the first part. Suppose you don't even have to go to court. And, don't take it for what I'm saying right now on this podium. There's a digital newsletter I think we'll be happy to share. Every month, we find that many defaults get cured. In fact, why you get cured is that we give advance warning. As a banker, let me tell you, there's a possibility of defaults getting cured when defaults are addressed at an early stage. Because see, when defaults persist, there's depletion of the enterprise value. Now, suppose you are employed with a company. If your company defaults, would you like to get employed there? You'd like to leave. So, when a default persists, the company consistently loses enterprise value. It loses customers. Would you like to take supplies from a customer who the company is defaulting? So that's why it's important to address default at an early stage. When you default at an early stage, there's a possibility of getting cured. And please let me finish. That I know you're bursting to this thing to respond. And we're happy to engage a debate. Maybe we can debate. But for this forum, paucities of time, please be. So that's the first part, addressing default at an early stage. We are doing it. And some data I'll give you in this newsletter we can share with you. Every month for the last 12 months, we see defaults happening. I'm not concerned because these are early stage defaults. And the fact that the early stage defaults also is born out of the fact that they also get cured. And some defaults also we see the accounts getting closure. Because some may point out that, look, defaults getting cured meant kahin se he's bought some money and somehow cured the default. But some accounts get closed. So that's the first part I would like to address it. We have a problem in the courts. Try to address in a different way. Don't take resort to the courts. Address default early. See that it doesn't go to the court. That's the first way. Second way. Now you see, I spoke of this in session.
Little bit actually my question is different actually.
Yeah.
I am looking at a portal of the defaulters. Before I supply to that defaulter, I should be very cautious. I should not do the business with that person. So there is default portals.
Yeah, so that is already there, don't worry. So I'll respond to this particular question also. So if you are supplying to a particular, say, customer, come to our portal, you will get his credit history. And I said, our portal is there for everyone. The only question is, if you are a first-time supplier, you need to take the consent of the customer. If you take the consent of the customer, you can access his credit history and find out for yourself. But if you are a regular supplier, you can always access his credit history. That's the first part. Second part, now courts, we all blame the courts, but look at the challenge which courts face. I refer to this case where, the courts get photocopied documents. Now today, if the courts were to get this genuine documents...
Sir, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
If
you can. Due to the paucity of time, we'll not take any more questions. Sorry.
Yeah,
Thank you.
One more question, I can address it. If you just like to hear what is the sense of the audience.
All right, sure. If there is any more questions?
Raise them high.
Sir, I come from a non-regulated technology service provider. I'd just like to hear your thoughts on how a technology service provider like myself can integrate the platform with NES. I'm already integrated with Entity Locker, DigiLocker, and so on, and other.
So let me just be brief. We already have certain authorized representatives, and just watch our website for 15 days. Within 15 days, we'll come out with detailed instructions. That's my promise.
Absolutely.
You'll get your answer. 50. Yeah, you can contact my team. You can contact me also. I'm there on LinkedIn. You can have more than 10,000 flowers on LinkedIn. Watch this space. 15 days you'll get instructions on that. We have that on mind, and we want to make this public. We want more users, more technology representatives who have the capabilities to integrate with the platform. So we will come out with detailed guidelines on what is required of you if you want to integrate with the platform. If you comply with that, you're welcome. If you cannot, I'm sorry.
Thank you so much, sir. May I have a round of applause, please? May I now invite Shri Nand Kumaram, President and CEO NEGD, to kindly present a token of appreciation to our distinguished speaker, Mr. Chaudhary, as a gesture of gratitude for his valuable insights. Sir, please. Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Shri Chirag Jain, Vice President, HDFC Bank. He will share his views on how DigiLocker is empowering the next wave of digital transformation in the Fintech ecosystem. To you too, sir.
Thank you. Good afternoon to this wonderful and patient audience, and such an insightful session we just had from Mr. Chaudhary on what NESL is doing. So I'll take you through what we at HDFC Bank are doing to ensure that DigiLocker, a critical digital public infrastructure, is getting utilized in the best possible way to make the banking as a service easier for all the customers. So before we go into the slides, most of the customers, whenever they want to get their statements or get any kind of documents or taxation, tax filing, they go to banks' websites. But you have to, if someone has 5-6 bank accounts, they have to go to 5-6 bank websites. What DigiLocker has enabled now is, even as a bank, we can issue documents on the DigiLocker infrastructure. And as one of the earliest pioneers in this space, we are already live with all our home loan documents and statements there, and also your bank statements. Anyways, we'll go how we are using it and planning to further leverage and double down on using DigiLocker as a critical infra for enabling end-to-end digital service delivery. Is there any pointer? So how we see DigiLocker is, it's just not we consider it as a very trusted source of information. At HDFC Bank, we strongly believe that we are in the business of trust. As a banker, as a custodian of public money, trust is the fulcrum on which our whole institution is based upon. So when we think about delivering services to the customer, it becomes paramount that we have a architecture where trust is by design, and DigiLocker provides trust by design by enabling pulling of the information with customer consent, a DEPA enabled architecture, and also in a very secure and transparent manner. It's akin to fraud proof. And as Mr. Chaudhary also mentioned, we also see all the digital initiatives as one way the banking industry contributes to saving the environment, reducing the consumption of trees, and that's also seen as a sustainability initiative within the bank also. So the beauty of DigiLocker is it enables a digital wallet, a digital locker wallet to all the citizens. And while most customers and users in the country are aware, the citizens are aware that Aadhaar document is available on DigiLocker, the best part is, as a financial institution, we see it as a powerhouse. Because for opening any bank account or delivering any digital services, we need sometimes more than Aadhaar. We need your PAN document, sometimes we need your shop establishment certificate, sometimes we need some additional documents which are available on DigiLocker. The only thing is our citizens need to go to their DigiLocker post registration, get those documents issued directly from the source. Like driving license, RC, all the information is available, and that's the power of DigiLocker. That in a single workflow, as a banker, we can pull all the information which is required to provide a particular banking services, be it opening an account or disbursing a loan. We always talk about digital public infra, and one of the poster child of digital public infra in the country is UPI. The another one which is a very emerging and fast evolving ecosystem is account aggregator. What these two do is enable payments on a real time basis. We are probably the most advanced country in the world right now, the way our payment speed, agility and trust is there. And on the other hand, account aggregator is really enabling financial inclusion by enabling credit underwriting to even those SMEs or really small businessmen, I will not even call them SMEs, so that they can get their credit basis, their cash flow. But the role of DigiLocker is even more foundational than these two, because you do payments or lending or even savings, post you do your account opening, you do KYC. The foundation to even begin a customer's journey and on financial inclusion by enabling him digitally can start with DigiLocker. Because DigiLocker, what we see, enables any user to do a KYC within few seconds. This all of us are aware how DigiLocker has really grown exponentially over last 6 to 7 years. And I was mentioning that we see DigiLocker not only as a document repository for Aadhaar, but all the issued documents. Tomorrow, even if someone wants to get an education loan, there are documents required for their education history. You go to your DigiLocker, you can get your CBSE certificates, CBSE mark sheet, not only your final certificate issued, you can get your Delhi University or any other university degrees issued, and that really helps in enabling any prospective student or borrower to get the funding. So we see it as a single source where the whole public documentation which is available is now nearly available. There are very few institutions which are left where the documents are not getting issued on DigiLocker, and that's why at a bank level also we are accelerating our integration of DigiLocker into multiple services. So these are some of the use cases at a bank where we are integrating DigiLocker. And if you see, there is hardly any retail banking services left where we are not planning to go big on DigiLocker. Be it your underwriting, be it asset disbursement, account opening. Account opening is something so fundamental, so critical to financial inclusion. Then all your services, even post account opening, if any kind of address change, any kind of further name change, signature change, all that information we can directly pull from DigiLocker is something we are working on. There are few challenges we still see while we are utilizing DigiLocker as a consumer. So DigiLocker, while almost due to the deep efforts by the UIDAI, Government of India and Ministry of Electronics and IT, most citizens are now aware that they can get their Aadhaar linked on DigiLocker, issued from DigiLocker. But all of us as a financial institution, as well as all the public entities need to bring customer awareness that other document types, almost practically every document type can be issued, and it will really make it seamless for them to get digital services not only from banks but also from other state or government entities. In fact, when I speak to some of my friends, some of them lost their driving license and they are not carrying driving license simply because the motor vehicle regs were updated that any customer or any driver who shows their driving license directly on DigiLocker is accepted. So this is the power of DigiLocker, and Government of India has done a beautiful job in empowering the DigiLocker by giving it the full authenticity as an equivalent physical document. And the second challenge we see that besides the government institutions also, other institutions with large public base like banks or like your depositories, RTAs, they also need to be more proactive on the DigiLocker, and it will benefit the whole ecosystem, including us as a consumer also. Why DigiLocker? There are other ways also to get the eKYC done. Now we can do bio eKYC, biometric KYC, we can done Aadhaar eKYC with OTP. But and some of the features of DigiLocker are shared across that ecosystem. So the beautiful part and the one of the most powerful statement comes from the seamless integration which DigiLocker provides, and there are multiple RRNs registered networks which enable banks like us or any other financial institution who wants to consume services from DigiLocker. And the most important part at a banking, we always spend and focus a lot on saving your customer profile details, your Aadhaar. That is like very fundamental, especially with DPDP Act coming in. So the DigiLocker, because of its multi-factor authentication framework, it emphasizes security. And more importantly, it was the visionary leadership of UIDAI that even 7, 8, or 10 years ago, the whole architecture was built in a very consent-based mechanism. Now, if anyone reads the DPDP Act, the whole architecture is about that customer is the data principal. You are the data owner, not the government, not the bank. So that consent lies with the data principal as in the customer, and that is something which which is embedded deeply into the DigiLocker architecture. So this is something which we are doing as an issuer while we are already live. As a consumer of the documents from DigiLocker, very soon almost all the services at HDFC Bank will also be enabled, be it account opening, loan disbursal, or even account servicing via DigiLocker. Thank you.
The house is open for any questions.
Yes, please.
I'm Ranjit Saraf. I represent Protean Ega.
Hey, hi Ranjit.
Hi,
Yeah.
ESP in this space for identity verification. So the focus that you have on DigiLocker, how does DigiLocker mature into making it full KYC compliant? Because right now I understand the flows are not fully compliant, as in you can't call a full KYC for the Aadhaar based verification that you do through DigiLocker. So is DigiLocker offering a roadmap to that, or how is bank looking at it?
So there are two parts to any full KYC. First is getting understanding of who you are. That who you are part and where you live part is taken care by the document. That is the Aadhaar document or a PAN document fetched from DigiLocker. One of the other important leg of the KYC is, are you who you are claiming to be? And that is where currently the regulatory guidelines across the industry, obviously there is slight difference how SEBI allows versus RBI allows, includes a live verification of the customer's photo with the document which has been pulled. In SEBI entities, it is allowed with a live photo, whereas in the RBI regulated entity, it is with video KYC. with face authentication coming in directly from UIDAI, which is I think in the rollout phase, that is one part which may become easier, that during the workflow itself is the Aadhaar number is entered and post that, or if the mobile number linked with Aadhaar is entered, and post that instead of authentication via OTP or biometric, the face authentication of the customer is used. By the very nature itself, the customer liveliness is also checked, and customers consent of pulling the data from Aadhaar and matching it on real time will also be enabled. So once the APIs are enabled completely and they are live, then those factors can be relooked at, and then those workflows can be presented to RBI, and RBI is an amazing program under RBI Sandbox. So under the sandboxes, you can anyone can, or any institution, be it a fintech or a bank, can put those workflows forward, and RBI is very positive in usually looking at these things.
Great.
Any other questions?
One more question, please.
Hey Chirag, this is Guru Shant here, founder of WealthX, a wealth continuity platform. Quick question. I think I would like to actually congratulate on HDFC being the pioneer in actually making DigiLocker as a space to issue the documents for customers to actually download the statements and banking services.
Thank you.
I just also wanted to actually draw your attention, given that when the regulated entities like HDFC Bank or any other regulated entities, they're issuing authorized documents to the DigiLocker, are we also actually considering during your discussion that when a customer actually puts it, for example, as simple as a name change or an address change, whether that can be propagated to all the related entities automatically instead of forcing the customer to make the name change to respective banks like HDFC, ICICI, and different banks and different institutions?
That's
one
a
thing.
very good question.
Second question is, I think all the financial institutions and the financial services so far always look at actually opening a bank account and keeping the bank account alive or the assets alive. Have we actually thought about having the citizen's death information, and as soon as the death is notified, that death is recognized, are we actually having any plans to notify their respective nominees about their assets instead of making the asset go into statistics of an unclaimed funds? Are there any thoughts and actually discussions coming along that line?
Sure. Now I will take the first question first. Both questions are very good and really need of the
So
hour.
sorry to interrupt. Kindly keep it short.
I'll keep it very short.
Thank you.
So there is already a public infrastructure available to resolve your first problem. That once the name change, address change, or any kind of KYC information change happens with one bank or one financial institution, that actually gets notified to other financial institutions in the form of CKYC. So centralized KYC, whenever I update against my CKYC number, just please let me complete. The moment one institution updates their information, the notification goes to other financial institutions also. Now it is up to that financial information institution that they take the data back from CERSAI and update the customer's information. And I'll give a live example. Few days ago, I changed the address in just one of the mutual funds. And I received mail from easily 17 to 18 mutual funds over next 2-3 days that my address was updated in every mutual fund where I never reached out to any other AMC. So that is already resolved. It's also up to the institution where they are consuming on a proactive basis or on demand basis. So on demand is when customer goes to the second institution for updating the address, they will redirect you directly to the CKYC portal, and they will not ask any document submission, but say ICICI had updated your KYC just last week. When you come to HDFC will not ask you any document, we will directly pull it from CKYC. But that is on demand model.
Yeah, well I think this is KYC point of view, I think it makes sense. For example, if you should look at other aspects like nominees.
So,
For example, if a life event change happens in a family, if that has to be updated,
so maybe more
that is impossible.
conversation can be taken.
Sure,
personally
I'll
outside
take
the room.
it. No worries.
Thank you.
connect offline.
Definitely. Thank you
for
everyone.
your engaging presentation, sir. I now invite Shri Debrabrat Nayak Ji, Chief Technical Officer, to kindly present a token of appreciation to our esteemed speaker in recognition of his insightful address. May I have a round of applause, please? Thank you so much, sir. Moving ahead, our next speaker is Ms. Hani Jagyasi, Head Digital Products, Edelweiss Mutual Fund. She will be speaking on how DigiLocker is revolutionizing the investor experience in India. Welcome to you, ma'am.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'll keep the session very, very short because the last two sessions, I think most of the use cases, and I am here to represent mutual fund. I'm a part of Edelweiss Mutual Fund and I take care of digital assets and digital business here. Along with this year we started focusing on how can we leverage AI. So here, since I see a lot of fintechs have participated, maybe offline, I can take a leverage of meeting and understand what in our industry they are leveraging technology, or how can they help me drive these use cases on DigiLocker. So Chirag and Mr. Chaudhary already mentioned DigiLocker is already enabler. Lot of possibilities which are a part of DigiLocker. As of today, we are enabling or we only have access of providing account statements which are a part of, if you are an investor of Edelweiss, if you have invested in mutual fund, you can access the account statement or a capital gain statement. That's just a service which is enabled. But beyond that, can you just shift it? There's a pointer. Yeah, can I? Thanks. So these are the two use cases which are available right now. You can get your account statement and capital gain statement. So like us, there are other mutual fund entities, they provide the same services, and future use cases are around this. So the way Chirag and Mr. Chaudhary were talking about, we can also enable investments through DigiLocker. So I want DigiLocker to be a next digital asset or a platform which is as equal as, you are coming, you are verifying, you are enabling your KYC and then purchasing a mutual fund. So this is very much possible. It's just that how are we going to achieve these use cases, because there are multiple integrations, multiple partners which are going to be involved, and how are we going to solve it? So these are basic use cases or a future proposed use cases where I'm looking forward solutions. Folio creation in a mutual fund industry, when you come for the first time or you want to create a goal-based folio, you have to provide your PAN. So mutual fund starts with PAN verification. Once your PAN or your KYC verified, you can create an account. You have to provide very basic details. So the idea is, how can I, if I understand a PAN and if I'm using a DigiLocker, if I provide my PAN details, how can I take or pre-fill this data while creating a folio? And this folio again can be, NRI or a RI case also. So for both the cases, there is a huge, and for today, the biggest problem is NRI. There is no digital service available as of today. Like for NRI, the struggle is real in terms of today also, you have to physically sign to buy this mutual fund. You have to physically go to branches and do the signatures, and then you can purchase the mutual fund. Since we are a highly regulated entity, this use case is yet to be explored, wherein we see KYC has to be solved for both RI and NRI cases both. So the very first case which I said, folio creation, how can we create instant folio, is nothing but providing the basic details. We can fetch it from DigiLocker. Your nominee against PAN or various integrations is already available. How can we fetch it so that the user doesn't have to put so many details, and then we can just allow a folio creation under mutual fund entity. Once the folio is created, once the KYC is verified, how can I enable transactions against it? I may have transactions already under one mutual fund. How can I do a top up? How can I do a SIP registration? Or maybe I want to buy a new fund altogether. The journey has to be seamless, and again, after you come and provide the products or a mutual fund product, payment is again a very critical part. How payment can be made available on DigiLocker is a part of the use case. Apart from this, while we provide the user experience or a journey, how can I see my portfolio? So my portfolio can be within Edelweiss, or maybe, if I give my consent and I want to access entire industry portfolio, that also can be visible. Is the future possibilities for sure. So we can have a unified view of mutual fund holdings across AMCs. I can be like today, Zerodha, Grow, all such platforms, they show you a consolidated view of all portfolios. So here also the possibility is very much real in terms of I can show entire portfolio under one umbrella. Investors can track and manage their portfolios within DigiLocker. So against these use cases, again, some or other way, the journeys are defined. The one which I just spoke about, folio creation is nothing but I can, user selects, create new folio, it's just the journey. Nominee and all are fetched. Verification happens through Aadhaar and PAN. For folio creation, there is a OTP consent which is required, a digital consent is required. Mobile OTP and email can be verified, and instant folio is created. So there is something called in mutual fund zero balance folio, wherein you do not have to put your money or you don't have to park anything, but you can just create a blank folio, and then in the future, you can top up or you can buy mutual funds against it. Of course, for this folio creation, a very critical part is checking that the bank account which you provide in the journey is a part of your, you are not using anyone's else account, you have to provide your own bank account. So for that, there is a penny drop or penniless service which gets integrated within the journey. So this was the folio creation part. Yeah, of course, the KYC part which I just talked about, we can enable existing KRAs are available for for KYC purpose. How can we leverage and make them available within DigiLocker? There are 5 KRAs available: CVL, NDML, and other RTAs, right? So how can we collaborate with them within DigiLocker ecosystem and take these services and provide the KYC services for both RI and NRI cases both. This is the effortless purchase journey. I've just imagined like this is how it should look like. Authentication is already happening with 2FA, which is a very secured way of maintaining, within any platform. Pre-population of the data which is already available. You can quickly review your investments with pre-filled information and instant processing through digital mode. If you already have a UPI autopay, or a e-natch created, you can access it and you can just within one click you can complete the whole investment journey. So here I see this whole process, there will be a 95%, approx 95% of reduction in form completion time, because in a typical any platform you see, or even our platform today for that matter, some of the information user has to put input. You can't leverage it, or no matter how many integrations you do, you can't pre-fill all and everything in the one go. But then here DigiLocker, since they already have a ecosystem available wherein multiple integrations are possible, we can retrieve this information, fetch it, and then make it available for the end user. This can actually be a one-click journey if we see from a future perspective, wherein user doesn't have to fill anything. It's just that they have to review it, and then do the payment. And then I talked about how can we show mutual fund portfolio or the consolidated one within DigiLocker. So this will give all transaction history, also statement access will be given. We can also perform a lot of analytics and insights on this, and already secure document repository is there. So for a mutual fund, this type of business, we do not ask for any document except for minor cases wherein guardian and minor relationship actually given. Other than that, To invest in mutual fund, there is no document which is required, just you have to be KYC verified, that's it. So yeah, these are all the possibilities which I see for sure coming from, DigiLocker, and these are all the possible use cases which I'm happy to try with DigiLocker and all fintechs who can provide me services. Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Any questions? No, thanks. Good question.
Thank you, ma'am. I request Shri Sanjeev Mitra ji, Deputy General Manager from NEGD, to do the honors of presenting a token of appreciation to our distinguished speaker. Thank you, Mr. Mitra. Our next speaker is Shri Prashant Mishra, Executive Vice President and Technology Fellow, Kotak Mahindra Bank. He will speak about the DigiLocker ecosystem within the Kotak Group. Yep.
So I'm Prashant. I've been running a bunch of like technology initiatives within Kotak, predominantly in the consumer bank. And I'm representing the Kotak Group. We have a bunch of like entities and subsidiaries which are using DigiLocker in like different fashions. So what we did is we did an exercise where we looked at like what is the current kind of DigiLocker spread within the Kotak Group, what kind of use cases we have touched. And then we did, and we continuously keep doing this as an exercise, and specifically for this presentation also, we did an exercise where we looked at what are some of the areas, what are the key insights, and then their corresponding kind of areas of opportunity that we feel can propel the DigiLocker adoption like multifolds. So I'll go down. So I think this is just a spread in terms of like how different entities are using, right? So we talk about Kotak Mahindra Prime Limited, which is basically like deals with vehicle loans, and their primary kind of use case is digital onboarding and KYC for vehicle loans. There are also peripheral use cases around accessing kind of vehicle information, like RC, like vehicle insurances and so on. Kotak Life Insurance is predominantly onboarded as an issuer. So it basically all policies that you purchase through Kotak Life Insurance and KGI, which is the general insurance wing, you can go ahead, like any consumer can go ahead and kind of retrieve those documents on DigiLocker. Kotak Securities is predominantly again digital onboarding and KYC for DMAT. And then within the bank, we see kind of usage across home loans where we do retrieve kind of property documents. We again like leverage this in digital onboarding. NPS account with driving license is another, like giving another option apart from like Aadhaar and PAN. That's another use case. And then within the alternate asset, which was earlier the investment advisory wing, this is again the mutual fund arm for Kotak, where we do like digital KYC for Aadhaar and PAN. So what we'll do is like we'll pick like a couple of areas, we'll go into the kind of use cases, and that will then set stream in terms of like where we derived like certain insights from. So, this is not working. Okay, let me do this. Okay. So I think in like one of the use cases which is predominantly used across like multiple entities is Aadhaar and PAN based KYC, and in case of NPS like retrieval of onboarding document. The journey is like fairly simple for the customer to kind of complete. They start on the website or on the app, they fill out their basic details. Then we prompt them to kind of authenticate with DigiLocker. They provide consent, and there it goes, right? The KYC requirements are kind of met at that point. The other set of use cases in Kotak Mahindra Prime Limited are listed as follows, right? So where digital KYC is like very similar to what we discussed. Vehicle ownership and asset verification, this is another kind of pain point where we look into kind of resale of vehicles, we look into like different kinds of like financing options, and then having an understanding about what is the vehicle, who is the financer, and their corresponding RC details and so on. Like that's another kind of area of opportunity. Looking at the vehicle insurances is another kind of area of opportunity that we see, and then obviously like we have document signing, and then like storage of, let's say, the loan artifacts. That's another kind of key use case. So as we kind of looked at some of these use cases, we then said let's look at what are the detractors, like what is essentially so if we could go, let's say, 100 miles and we've only gone 10 miles, like what can kind of bridge that gap. So the next set of slides is essentially like an observation and then the opportunity that we see. So first one is, and this is like a very interesting customer survey that we did. So we ended up we saw drop-offs happening in the journey. We ended up talking to the customers to say why was the drop-off happening. And we got a lot of anecdotes to say like, I forgot my DigiLocker PIN. Now the customer doesn't use DigiLocker, they use DigiLocker as a transactional entity. They don't use it very often, and then there is a habit of like forgetting the DigiLocker PIN, and then while it is still easy, you just need to enter your Aadhaar and do an Aadhaar OTP and set the DigiLocker PIN again. But then that is essentially something which we see as like one place where the customers get blocked. So and the paradigm that I'll compare with is, let's say if you look at UPI, so UPI saw huge adoption because it met the customer where the customer was. So the customer could be on a bank app, the customer could be on a fintech app. The app can provide a native experience where the customer doesn't have to hop, the customer doesn't, they provide authorization once and then that continues for some time. So I think the area of opportunity in my mind is that we should be able to look at like better seamless authorization mechanisms that can be shared between partners or enablers that can take the adoption kind of multifolds. The second use case that we saw, or places where we saw drop-offs, was customers have a lot of documents. As a requester, I only need PAN and Aadhaar as an example. Now customers could go select maybe a third document and then the request fails. Right now it's unintuitive for the customer to say, okay, why did the request fail? So as a requester, I should be able to provide my prerequisites to say this is what I need and then take them forward. It exists in some shape and form, but the experience can be kind of improved. So that's another kind of area of opportunity. I think the third one was also touched by the principal secretary from Assam. So when we look at like RCs across states or property documents across states, there's a lot of variability, right? So while it has been a humongous exercise to pull all of these, for all of these entities to kind of start publishing documents and get them integrated, where we feel the next level of adoption curve will, or that the exponential curve will hit, is if we add like systematic governance to say these are the minimum set of attributes of metadata that is needed for us to enable use cases, and then like we allow issuers to issue in whatever format they want to publish, but at least maintain a minimum kind of attribute guarantee. So that's another. So standardizing data formats with systematic governance is another place where we see we'll get into a lot of synergy, because that would then be like a multifold kind of improver in adoption. I think there was another point in terms of like, which I think Chirag also mentioned, in terms of like freshness of the data when the document is updated, and then there was a related discussion around when a certain document update happens. We also lack a mechanism where I can like publish an event and have somebody consume that event to say this event happened or this document consumed it. So if the customer has provided me consent for a certain document, and if the document goes through a change, and if I'm notified, then I can build like more richer experiences versus relying on a custom pull or maybe a polling experience every time the customer kind of is looking. So the idea is to add triggers to to track document freshness, to add kind of events to changes in the document lifecycle. Maybe the document is expired, maybe the document is not valid, maybe there's an update published. So how does the ecosystem know about like what those updates are? That gives them rails to build then additional capabilities and experiences. Otherwise what happens is this will come in the way of when the customer experience the use case. So this eventing framework is another addition that could happen which to the current state, where any changes to document updates can be published further. So that's another enabler that we see going forward. The other place where I feel, where we felt and this is again like more towards awareness, right? So the fact that the customer is forgetting the DigiLocker pin means that there is while there is broader kind of usage from a transaction perspective, but for one particular customer in their life cycle, how often do they use DigiLocker? So the root cause of that is that we still need to build and incentivize like a bunch of experiences, right? So I think Hani talked about like, can I start showcasing my mutual fund portfolio? Can I like collate like a set of like different documents and make this as the place where I go again and again, and allow the community and incentivize the community to build more experiences, so that there is larger recall back to the customer, and then the customer keeps coming back to the ecosystem, and it's not like transactional when they want to go do something else, only then they are kind of experiencing DigiLocker. The other place where I felt like there is a huge opportunity is like when we looked at the issuer requester setup that we have for DigiLocker, and when we looked at, let's say, the FIU, FIP setup that exists on account aggregator, the consent model from an integration perspective. So as a bank, when I'm integrating, I know that I have to do two different integrations, manage two different kinds of consents and so on. So there is also synergy that we see across like similar ecosystems which are built, which are any which ways complementing each other, but then they can be taken much further. So for example, if I'm onboarded as a financial information user and a financial information provider, can I also share through that same protocol let's say documents that I want to publish to the DigiLocker framework? So bringing the two together means lesser integrations. So anybody who is a financial user can also be a requester. Anybody who is a requester can also be a financial information user, and so on. So that's another like parallel that we see, where we should, like, as long as we tap into ecosystem synergies, that will propel us much faster than publishing the two platforms like in their own setup. Another insight that we saw was today we rely on like one-time consent fetches. Like if we can do recurring fetches, again this is like in my account aggregator framework, I can provide a more time-driven, a more kind of recurring kind of fetch that the requester can do, and then they can keep building experiences. Otherwise, the consent comes in the way of executing a certain or providing a certain customer experience back. So that's another area of opportunity that we see, which can kind of propel adoption faster and help build like more richer experiences without compromising security. The last part was something which came up in like very recent kind of debates that we were happening to say, and the particular use case was we were looking into, so somebody retrieved a property document and then they were trying to make sense of the property document, run an OCR, run a lightweight like small language model or a large language model. So the inherent suggestion that came from the team was, given that DigiLocker is the hub for documents, there are basic models that I can still go ahead and deploy which can derive intelligence, right? One use case was, so today we have n number of states publishing their registration certificates, their property documents in a separate format. Can I deploy a small language model? The small language model can extract basic attributes in a queryable format, which I can then consume through an API. So that makes life easier for the requester, because then they don't have to invest in building, let's say, an OCR or maybe deploying a large language model at their end to kind of run analytics. So how can we bring AI closer to documents? So there is like use cases where I can deploy some intelligence over the document and derive insights. There is also usage. So as we talk about like more REST APIs, in the world of like AI models, like where MCP is picking up. So we should also try to define like more MCP interfaces. So that nets out. So these were like across the journey, like 8 or 9 kind of insights, and then like a corresponding area of opportunities. Yep. So I think that should be pretty much it. The last, so we tend to, we do this as a practice where we like write down tenets to say like what are the anchors which change, which will help us go towards the future growth. So these are, at least we listed down some in context of DigiLocker. So one, we dramatically anchor on like simplified customer experience. It is paramount, like any place where we introduce, so any additional click, any additional page, it almost always results into drop-offs. Technology stability, obsessing over security, scalability and performance is always non-negotiable. We feel we should focus on the ecosystem more than the product, right? So if the ecosystem grows, the product will inorganically grow. So I feel, and we feel that DigiLocker is a great product at this point, and probably we should invest a lot into kind of building and growing the ecosystem, which will inherently mean that DigiLocker as a product kind of grows. Drive synergy with core frameworks, like we need to bring kind of ecosystem synergy so that similar ecosystems don't have to be repeated. From an integration perspective, it's a win-win across ecosystem, less maintenance and simpler systems to kind of maintain. We build experiences again rather than transactional integration. So today, when a customer walks in and then we ask for their KYC documents, there are cases where they are aware of the DigiLocker, there are cases where they're not aware of DigiLocker. That is a transactional integration. But if you build richer experiences, then the recall will be back. And then last point is, again, like we need to think ahead in terms of like making sure that new age tech is also able to integrate into DigiLocker. Yeah. So I think that should be it. Thank you.
Thank you, Prashant ji. May I now call upon Shri J.L. Gupta ji, Director NEGT, to kindly present a token of appreciation to Prashant ji for his valuable contribution to today's session. Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is Shri Kirubanandan K, Assistant General Manager, Bank of Baroda. He will discuss how Bank of Baroda is utilizing DigiLocker to enhance and transform the digital banking experience for citizens.
I think good afternoon, it's time for lunch, but I would not stand between you and the lunch. But my job is from my fraternity. I think whether it is HDFC, Kotak or Edelweiss or the earlier speaker or NESL has covered many things. But from a public sector bank, I would be very proud to say that we have been seeing the adoptions. But being a regulated entity, we don't much use into our own ecosystem, but our subsidiaries, whether it is where credit card systems, we use the DigiLocker for onboarding, whether it is our Bobcaps, which is a capital market services like Edelweiss, we use. But I would, before getting into dwell, what I would appreciate and I am about DigiLocker is when the India stack was created, right? JAM, everybody knows about this. So I would say that the concern layer, the cashless layer, the paperless layer, and the presence layer. So this Indian stack, which add the very key component above the presenceless layer was the paperless layer. So we all as a banker or regulated entity, we had this access of presenceless layers. But one thing was always thing when customer is away from us, how does he really get onboarded? So this DigiLocker as a institution, we understand that they have made this paperless layer, the DigiLocker, as a very key anchoring for all this. The last 10 years have been the growth of every India stack, and today we heard that they have grown to 60 crore. But our intention is how do we go from 60 crore to next? So where are we? So my suggestions would come, sir, because today we just wanted to share some of the key statistics, but anyway, my counterparts have already done these things. I will not take much of the time. But let me dwell upon one important queries. Today we have seen this Jandan accounts have been opened and there are a lot of things. Whether all are onboarded onto DigiLocker, no, that is not the thing. So where do we bring? We brought the students, we made this 30 crore, correct sir? So there was a discussion in the morning also. So next layer, where is it? So if you look at Jandan, who was the real people bridging, they published the banks with the help of the BCs. Today from a farmer, from a layman, how do you onboard them into a DigiLocker is where we have to solve. If we solve, it is not that it is solving, it is going to really help even that person for whatever microcredit or anything which we are as a fintech ecosystem or anybody. Say today he has to carry an Aadhaar. Sometimes he doesn't carry. He doesn't carry his purse. He doesn't carry the entity documents everywhere. So if we are able to crack, so my earlier speakers were about discussing about the way of onboarding easiness. This ease is where my request to DigiLocker in today's session would be to we collaborate when we make this an simplified platform where we are able to cross in next 2 years 120 crores. So that is one part. But then I would really say some of our use cases further, I would say, where our HDFC or Kotak also was covering. See the concern base, really today account aggregator, concern base has really solved many of the financial underwriting or the concern for even for tracking our loans. For having earlier our NESL was saying that for a defaulter, what is it? The best thing is to monitor, correct? So what is this concern? Even in DigiLocker, we should have a concern system because any of the thing today, regulated entities for many of the other things also today, we have a heavy load on the documents. So update of the documents, whether it is a re-KYC, whether it is your any of the document update, we should have a concern that the customer as if he has given for a purpose code and if any update is happening. Today we have a CKYC registry, but today the unsolved problem of a customer is, suppose I have gone and updated, it will get updated in 17 or 18 mutual funds in all banks, it will get updated, but I have not updated my mobile number, for example, and the base document I have updated in SBI. Okay, now I am in Bank of Baroda opening an account for CKYC, through CKYC. Yes, but that mobile number is not with me. As a customer, end customer, I don't have a visibility. What should I do? Where should I go? So if these documents are also brought and are made available into DigiLocker for that purpose, where we can have a collaboration with various, this SI which really runs down this. So there we are solving a use case for the end customer. Okay, so some other thought process what I was also looking at, today we are all trying to do some sort of an authentication mechanisms. We have PIN, we have OTPs, we have various authentications. Whether DigiLocker also can give for a common man a token sort of thing, a token for that validity for some purposes where this token can act as a authentication mechanism for my login where it can solve. So with this, but not taking you because I took time to prepare this slide, but nevertheless these are some of the use cases we use in Bank of Baroda, and we also keep driving. And one of the offtake, we as a banker have realized that we provide mobile banking, net banking, WhatsApp banking and whatever sort of banking. Still people hop onto DigiLocker to access their documents, and we have seen a very surge in whatever documents. So today I was very happy that Principal Secretary of Maharashtra had been presenting on the pension, which we also provide the pension slip and things. So we will also look to provide in collaboration with this. Looking at the time, I think, thank you.
Thank you, sir. We now request Shri Nirmit Mehrotra ji, General Manager NAGD, to present a token of appreciation to our eminent speaker. Thank you, Nirmit. Our next speaker is Sri Suresh M, Head of Digital Business, ICICI Bank. He will share his views on how the banking in India is being reimagined through DigiLocker.
Hi, good afternoon, everybody. I realize that I stand between you and lunch, but my job, I guess, is to give you food for thought and not not calories that you would consume. This is a very quick presentation that we put together as to what we thought of. In fact, since the agenda was quite vast, and I knew there were quite a few speakers before me doing that. So we'll just quickly touch upon what we really did with DigiLocker. When DigiLocker got announced and we saw all the documents getting consumed, we really got excited. We thought, here is the one-stop shop for all verified documents. We were getting documents earlier, but it was not verified. So verification was a big use case in the bank. So we put our heads together, got some of the journeys going. These are just some of the journeys, not limited to these. We got dormant account activation. The re-KYC is a big pain. I mean, whosoever does banking, I mean, customers, this is the most often received complaint in the bank that re-KYC is due. I don't know how to do it. I got to walk down to a branch. So all these things got removed because we did this dormant account verification. So thanks to DigiLocker for enabling our customers to do that. We did employee onboarding also, and we have, being a vast bank, being a big bank, we have roughly about 50,000 people, employees joining us every year at various levels. And today the onboarding of all those employees actually happens through through DigiLocker, especially the freshers who will come, though they submit their mark sheets, etc., through the DigiLocker. And then there is this often received complaint again, apart from re-KYC, there is the address change. As people change houses, people change cities, address change is a very often required document. And again, the place when the customer realizes that he actually needs to do the address change is when probably he's applying for a loan somewhere, or probably applying for a passport or a visa. He needs the bank statement with the latest address. How do you do it at the snap of a button? And that the DigiLocker provided answers there. And we had many more journeys. This is just, like I said, this is just indicative of what we did. Are there opportunities for more? Yes, obviously there are. So one of the critical problems that we saw and we solved for also, but again, just to highlight that. For example, the format in which the Aadhaar data was flowing from DigiLocker was very, very different from what we consumed in the bank. For example, the bank core systems needed the full 16-digit Aadhaar or 12-digit Aadhaar, whereas DigiLocker was giving us 4, and hence it was not compatible. Now that we've realigned it, now the customer onboarding also for assets is also on. While so I mean, you can definitely witness that in days to come, our consumption of DigiLocker by our customers will go many fold. So today, while Aadhaar is fully integrated, we also, these are the 6 or 7 documents which are given as OVDs for doing the KYC by banks. I think Aadhaar is fully there. I mean, there is no doubt. If we get an Aadhaar from DigiLocker, we are there. But we have glitches in terms of EPAN and driving license, which are not fully there. EPAN, because some EPANs don't come for some customers, and 2 driving licenses for some or all the states are not live. So if we get there, I guess we will also do that. And if these 6 or 7 documents are somehow made available on DigiLocker, it actually becomes the one-stop shop for all KYC done by any of the financial institutions. So what are the other opportunities that are there? So like my friend from Kotak Mahindra Bank, Prashant, said, we have to dramatically align ourselves towards frictionless experience for the customers. I mean, data is good, getting the data is good, but does it give me an opportunity to fulfill a journey very seamlessly is something that we need to think through. In the sense that, just to give you an example, if let's say I am onboarding a customer and I move him or her to the DigiLocker platform, I only realize what documents that the customer has only after he logs in there. Till that time I am blinded. So I don't know which journey to really take the customer on. Whether the customer has only Aadhaar there, Aadhaar and PAN, Aadhaar, PAN and driving license. So if I know this information earlier, I can actually construct a journey much more seamlessly. So probably you could think of having an API to just indicate, you did not give me the details of the documents, but if you just tell me that, okay, this customer has 1, 2, 3, 4 documents, it does not have 4, 5, 6 documents, then I can construct my journey accordingly. And so that's what I meant by upfront visibility. If that is there, I think we can raise the usage of DigiLocker. And so let's work together. I mean, this is all I had for today. I mean, the rest of the points I guess snipped out of the presentation. Thank you all for such a patient hearing. I hope it was useful. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. May I now call upon Shri Karan Tandon ji, Senior Manager NEGD, to kindly present a token of appreciation to Suresh ji for his valuable contribution to today's session. Thank you, Karan. Thank you, sir. As we conclude these engaging sessions, I, Shipra Abraham, sincerely thank all speakers and participants for their valuable insights and active involvement. Your discussions have truly enriched the dialogue on digital innovation and citizen-centric services through DigiLocker. We will now break for lunch. I request all participants to reassemble here by 2:30 p.m. for the next set of engaging presentations. Thank you.
ये कर मारा है ना कुछ नहीं
I request everyone to kindly settle down. We'll soon begin with our session.
Building the DigiLocker restructured and continued with it. So I'm here only to listen that what is the expectation. That is the one of the deliberation I am finding. One aspect of my thought process is very clear that it will be wallet, but you can be capable of building lots of value addition to it. Or if we will do inside the DigiLocker like account opening of your bank, it will take only 1 second to do. Because if there is a parameter agreement, Aadhaar name, date of birth, gender, PAN number and document, send you the packet only. No, it's not the KYC. It is not KYC. I have the document. I will create a packet and send to you. Then you will give me the...
If you wish to.
Okay. Automatically I have the facial. Everything I am having. So I only want a one click, not more than one click. It will only send and you will say that okay, account opening or something in the account number.
Good afternoon, everybody.
Account opening.
I, Shipra Abraham, welcome you all once again at the session during the National Conference on DigiLocker. Let us rejoin the momentum as we begin the post-lunch session with renewed energy and enthusiasm. I am pleased to welcome Shri Asad Kumar, Chief Information Security Officer at DigiYatra Foundation, who will share how DigiLocker is making air travel more seamless and secure through biometric identity. Please welcome, sir. Yes, it will be there.
You have the mutual fund aggregator document is coming up. Demand is coming up. So that's why I'm into it for the last, whether I will kill most of them or I will be only one player into it. But the only thing that I want to look at the ecosystem be around.
This will be your pointer.
Yeah.
Yeah, good afternoon everyone. This is Asit Kumar. I'm working as Chief Information Security Officer and Data Protection Officer at DigiYatra Foundation. So before I start my presentation, I'll just give a small background of what DigiYatra application is and what DigiYatra Foundation aims to do. So if I talk about DigiYatra application, it is an initiative to achieve seamless, paperless and hassle-free travel experience for passengers for air travel across all the airports of the country. And Indian airports, using the facial recognition technology, it aims to transform air travel by providing a contactless journey from entry to boarding. So what are the backbones and foundations for behind this DigiYatra application? The first one comes the seamless journey, which enables contactless travel experience using facial recognition for faster processing at security gates and other boarding points. Enhanced security, which leverages biometric and verifiable credentials, which are international standards for robust identity verification, significantly reducing potential of fraud and unauthorized access. Privacy preserving, as the solution and the ecosystem is privacy preserving, it only allows the users to have the control of the data and what data has to be shared with what parties. This is all controlled by the user. So this is user controlled platform in which the type of data for regarding personal information or PII, what they want to share, they can share. Otherwise, this is a part of the selective disclosure. So the current trend adoptions, what we have seen is a significant and substantial rise in digital identities and verifiable credentials. So why digital identity matters? Because traditional identity systems are failing to meet the demands of the modern ecosystems. There have been many compromises in the breaches for the credentials, and at the same time the user feels a lot of inertia because they have to have various passwords across various federated systems. So how digital identity works, it offers a revolutionary alternative, putting individuals in control of their personal information while enabling seamless secure verification across services. So digital identity in the form of facial biometrics concentrates upon the strongest factor of authentication, which says who you are, which is much more secure than what you have and what you know. So this is the ideology and the principles which are the basic pillars of the DigiYatra application. So I'll talk about DigiYatra Foundation. It is a Section 8 company which is under Ministry of Civil Aviation, and its prime focus has been to revolutionize the air travel experience across the country, and we are aiming to go global also. So if we see the latest trends for the adoption trends for this biometric credentials, as we say, digital identities, this is a projection that by 2027, this is going to be a $30 billion market. 78% of the organizations who are working on traditional identity systems are moving and trying to improve their ecosystem with digital identity, and this is the current report as people are trying to get into the modern ways of maintaining the identity credentials. And 5.2 billion users have been found to be online, and it is going to be projected as by 2026 end, it is going to be 5.2 billion users who are using digital credential rather than the traditional ones. So understanding verifiable credentials, this is a W3C international standards, and how it is secure, because it is cryptographically secure with the tamper-proof digital signatures which are signed by decentralized identifiers. There is no central intermediary in between, so which gives a real-time verification of the credentials. User controlled, as I already said, individuals decide what information to share and with whom, enabling selective disclosure. Instantly verifiable, organizations can verify credentials in real time. There are 3 components to it. I'll come to the next slide. What are the 3 components for verifiable credentials? And the key adoption factors are the enhanced security because it is tamper-proof, privacy by design because you own the data, you go through selective disclosure, and what data you want to share with whom is under your control. Operational efficiency because it removes a lot of manual efforts in between and the manual costs in between, and everything is automated in this case. Interoperability because globally we are coming with open standards for interoperability across the organizations and the ecosystem, which ISO and IATA and ICAO are working upon. So this provides an interface to integrate all the various applications across the globe, whether it is related to travel, medical, healthcare, education, or examination systems. So the technology ecosystem, when we talk about verifiable credentials, there are 3 major components to it. One is the holder who selects to disclose what to the issuer. Issuer generates the credentials and signs, puts a sign or stamp on it as an authentication method. And the verifiers are the organizations who verify this identity. And the plus point here is, the advantage here is the issuer does not need to be online when you are verifying the identity. So this 3-party trust built on W3 standards provides with decentralized identifiers, of course, creates a trust triangle that operates without centralized intermediaries. Decentralized identifiers don't bank upon any central authority for the certificate signing. These are all managed with the help of the blockchains, and I am in the control of the key rotation of the cryptographic operations. So this gives a leverage that I can change my system at any point without affecting my services. So DigiLocker, let me speak about DigiLocker as identity provider for DigiYatra. If I see the current trends in the last 5 months, we had 5.88 billion users on our platform who created verifiable credentials, and a substantial amount of it, which is 26%, are created with the help of the DigiLocker services. And it's a substantial amount, and it has become like a cornerstone for us, because when the Aadhaar services is done, practically speaking, this has got a framework and a backhaul, which works as a backbone of a reliable connection with the services which are citizen-centric. So what makes DigiLocker as a reliable source for integration is the API Setu. The best part about API Setu, it's a transparent and trustworthy solution, an API gateway, and it is actually an API marketplace where I can go and register for the citizen service and I get a reliable connection towards it. So this is a fail secure method of integrating. And how do we do in DigiYatra application? First, we request is initiated. API Setu processing does all the verification, fetches the identity from the Aadhaar identity provider services. Aadhaar validation is done at the Aadhaar end, and whenever it comes back to the DigiYatra, the verifiable credentials are created, which is a secure method, and we are having a real-time identity verification where the compliance is not put at stake. Compliance with the privacy regulations and data protection regulations are on in place. So that is why DigiLocker banks provides a lot of strength towards the applications like DigiYatra. So DigiLocker as a strong pillar, as we know, it is security excellence because industry standard inscriptions are there, compliance certifications are there, robust authentication, resilience, everything we have in place. The proven integration of API Setu connectivity with Aadhaar provide reliable scalable identity verification infrastructure. So DigiLocker demonstrates the technical capabilities, security posture and privacy protections necessary to serve as a trusted identity provider for applications like DigiYatra. So as we know, DigiLocker has got various documents compatible with it in its wallet, and there are many ways in which you can create the verifiable credentials. So we have achieved the creation of the verifiable credentials with the help of Aadhaar validation and driving license. Driving license, we have tested it. We are waiting for the approval from the ministry. We are going to put it online for this DigiYatra application. So these two we have achieved. Vehicle registration and PAN card is also a way to go forward. So we are exploring the ways on which we can get the leverage of DigiLocker as the documents provider and the services provided for the identity verification. So strategic growth opportunities, as I said, if I look about the potential pathways for the future growth of the application, we have to provide multiple documents, like for example, e-passport, which is not existing in India, but we are planning to get it done. The government of India is planning to get it done, and it is going to be a vital source for verifiable credentials because it will enable international operations also for us. And right now we have made the prototype, we have seen it with the abroad passports, it's working fine. What we require is a secure wallet where I can get as a platform what I require as a data, which is the e-passport. Digital wallet evaluation, because 170 million users which are on board on DigiLocker, they can be readily integrated with the applications like verifiable credentials for the applications like DigiYatra. What we need to do is create a wallet. Whoever comes as a citizen for the DigiLocker application for its documents or his or her documents, the wallet with ISO standards can be created. So directly those wallets as per the ISO standards, which is interoperable, I can create credentials, verifiable credentials on the DigiLocker platform itself. So that is the plan we have proposed on this. We are working on it. That is why I say it's a strong backbone for us. DigiLocker is a strong backbone for us. The ISO compliance or the international wallets standards ensuring security and trust. Building global trust, because we are going into interoperable standards, we are looking after the standards of IATA, ICAO, W3C, ISO. So ISO 18013-5 is a compliance and standard for secure data wallets. Then we have ISO compliant verifiable credentials also. I know it is a short presentation. I have gone through a very crisp of the presentation. I am going to leave my presentation ends now, but I am ready to answer any of the questions of yours which you will to ask me. And sorry for my posture. I have got a back sprain, so sorry for that. Please tell me.
Sorry to hear about your back problem. Take care.
Thank you.
So my question was e-passport. You spoke about there is a framework which is designed or some protocol you guys have finalized. Is it going to be utilized by DigiLocker is what you were trying to say? I could not
No, I am saying DigiLocker can be a bank of data for us to getting the wallets created, because DigiLocker as a citizen-centric service provides wallets for you to put the documents. Now, if I talk about, let me give a small glimpse on this. E-passports work on the standards of ICAO, ICAO and IATA. Now what they have done, they have gone through the ISO standards which are applicable across the industry. Before this we were talking about W3C standards, which was not interoperable. Now with that interoperability of ISO compliance, we have already tested it with the foreign passports. The application works fine, but rather than the person who is having the, or who is the holder of the passport goes and scans it, I have a ready data lake for it through the DigiLocker. That is what I was talking about.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for the presentation. There was a lot of technology here.
Yes, sir.
A lot of technology points that you mentioned. For example, verifiable credentials, zero knowledge proof, and then blockchain, and then so on. So when you are talking of verifiable credentials, are you saying that your DigiYatra app is the digital wallet for the credential?
At present,
currently,
yes,
it's holding the
yes,
verifiable credentials,
yes,
and then the DID is created by the wallet itself?
DID is the ecosystem which backbones it, because once I get the credentials signed by the issuer, which is my DigiYatra ecosystem, and I store it securely on my phones in the wallets. Whenever that data with a verifiable credential, goes to the airport, they can check it with the blockchain. Actually, the public key is lying there. So what it does is check for the digital signature, whether
so is there
it's
a
tampered.
blockchain? Sorry to cut you short. So is there a blockchain that is backing, or
Yes, yes.
So that blockchain is owned by
us.
DigiYatra owns the blockchain?
Yes. We have our own ecosystem for it, and we are only publishing the required keys on it.
Okay, so is this backed by any government entity, that is the permission to own the blockchain? Is it vetted by any regulatory body?
Yes,
okay,
with MIT. We have got it done. Ministry of Civil Aviation in conjunction with MIT.
Okay.
And since we are not putting any data on it, so it was easier to go through that.
No, but then in the blockchain, you would obviously be putting the credentials of the issuer.
No,
and
no,
the
we are not putting
well.
the credentials. I am only putting the public key, which will verify the signature of the credential. I am not putting any PII on
right,
it.
That's fine.
Signature, whether it VC has been tampered or not. And since I am in the control of the public-private key pair, I can go through the key rotations.
So what
as
about
I
the
want.
DID of the holder itself? The DID key is actually in the wallet itself? Is that how you
There
are
is
storing
no
it?
DID key as such. It is the signature which comes signed from the issuer, which is our ecosystem, and gets securely stored in your wallet. Whenever that data goes to the airport, they know which blockchain to talk and what is the public key. They will take it out and match the signature, the hash of the verifiable credential.
Now, just curious to know, since I am
I'm sorry to interrupt. If you can take this conversation after.
Yeah. Okay, so I still managed to do the presentation in this status. So thank you. It was a nice presentation for me and good experience. Thank you.
Please be on stage. May I now call upon Shri Drebhurat Nayak ji, CTO NEGD, to kindly present a token of appreciation to our speaker.
I'm visiting your office.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I now extend a warm welcome to our next speaker, Shri Abhinav Parashar, co-founder Digio. He will speak on industry perspective on trusted digital infrastructure. We welcome you, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone. All right, so I think industry perspective has been talked through. Like our fellow speakers have talked about how they are using DigiLocker and other DPIs. We, Digio, work with most of the industry use cases So when we think as DPI or a product, we have to be little agnostic to a use case or industry, be it banking, capital markets, insurance, non-regulated like HR, your employee onboarding or similar use cases. So I'll try to put a bit of a common perspective how we think about it, and let's relook from where we started on DPI, and there are thin lines in between what should be done at DigiLocker layer, what should have been done at account aggregator, what should be done at Aadhaar layer. So let's go back to fundamentals and question what's happening today and why it's happening today. So quick introduction, Digio, we started 10 years back. We work with more than 2,000 entities in the country. This is the scale we operate on, 250 plus million identities processed per year, 50 million plus documents generated per year, similar signing, and we are a licensed payment aggregator and account aggregator as well. Some of the logos that we work with to set the context, like it's the learnings from all the use cases. So why these processes are required? Let's go back. Is it new? Was it there already? OVD it's like originally officially valid document. Why is it required? So if you're doing a business transaction, you need to know who the person is. If something goes wrong, how to catch that person. It was solved with the identity card. Now, can that identity card, is it really real? Is it fake? That's why OSV was introduced, which is originally seen and verified. Now, the third piece of this is, am I the right owner of that document? Then came the IPv into the picture. So the pain points which existed, and there is a point about gazetted officers and notarization. These processes were helping out in solving these problems. That yes, I have seen this document. This is a trusted person who has seen the document and stuff, right? So physical document collection definitely is a logistic problem. Say any of our entities cannot service in a tier 4 city because our logistics cannot reach there. The process has to be digital. Then large paper trail, lost in transit, authenticity of the document cannot be established, and possibly identity theft. That's why IPv came into the picture. Let's look at what's happening now. So no physical document collection required. Which is officially valid document coming with an original seed and verification process inbuilt. You have the digitally signed copy of the document. You have the issuer authenticity. It comes with user consent and document ownership. Say you are accessing your own DigiLocker account through the process. Then the ownership of the document is also validated in to some extent. Now the question comes, and there were certain questions also. So if we are using DigiLocker, do we need to do IPv? How RBI is thinking about it? What are the other processes I should do as a business? If I've done a DigiLocker, do I need a liveliness verification? Do I need to do a video KYC? So if we look at the fundamentals, what problem has been solved and decouple with the IPv and OSP and OVD, we'll have our own answers. Like we do need a video KYC or we do need a liveliness verification. So now with the partnership approach DigiLocker has taken, enabling businesses to directly use the data with user consent, the outcome we can clearly see. It's not just a wallet anymore. It's a source of trusted information. There used to be a myth that a user has to have a DigiLocker account and then only they can use the data. They have to upload your Aadhaar card. So it has evolved. In 4 or 5 years, at least personally, I have educated more than 500 businesses that no, it is a runtime process. It's with user consent. the data gets pulled at then and there. They don't have to upload the data, verify it, and later on use it, right? So it's when DigiLocker is there, the trust is already created. It's not just a source of identities. The user, if it is getting onboarded with this flow, it's coming from a trusted source. Adoption trends. So these are some of the examples where all of us have seen loan application, demat accounts, employee background verifications, gig onboarding, your DigiYatra, scholarships. So it's across. And this is just an example. BFSI versus non-BFSI use cases. So earlier it was only used back in 2020 only in BFSI use cases. Now, even in our company, you would see the onboarding is happening with DigiLocker. Your mark sheets are getting pulled via DigiLocker. It's not identities only. It's beyond identities, and multiple use cases are opening up. So industry is also evolving. Specifically, I think BFSI use case we all have seen. Non-BFSI, HRMS, your edutech, hospitality. When you check into a hotel, it's not anymore, it can be a digital process. It can be done even before you reach there. Right? So those kind of use cases are opening up. This is our insight. So these kind of flows get created. Say left hand side you see if a user is coming on a platform, they will have both the option. Do they want to do a digital journey, or do they want to do a upload of the document journey? So what we have seen, 83% users prefer going via a digital journey. And even if they go via a digital journey and their failure happens, then there are alternates provided and success rate can be done better. So that's how industry has incorporated these flows into their own onboarding journeys. This is what we have seen. When the processes are digital, we have seen less than 1 minute onboarding happening. When the manual uploads are there, this is the type that we have seen, 4 minutes average. And the reason being, you have to enable your camera, you have to have your ID cards, you have to take it out, so it takes time. So average onboarding time, this is the time difference we as a enabler have seen. It's being talked about, again we have to question that, do we need to really get the identity of the person, identity card of the person? Say, if I was getting into Bharat Mandapam, my identity was supposed to be verified. Do I really need to provide my Aadhaar, or do I really need to provide my driving license? They just need to verify this is me. So I can say, okay, this is the QR code, I can give my name, which is coming from a verified source. And similarly, it does not have to be name, it can be any information. It can be my mark sheets, it can be my, say, medical history, right? So this is how we should think about it. When multiple data sources are coming together, and not necessarily the entire data has to be shared. It has to be a limited information based on the use case. So this is how we should, probably these are the layers which are required in the future. Expanding issuer network definitely is required. It's value for citizens, it's value for DigiLocker as a platform, as a business. Citizens, we have seen different kind of use cases are opening up when different kind of data sources come up. We have seen entity locker as an example. When V2V data was available, we can see how it's just started, but the impact will be big, right? Below are some examples, like what kind of data sources can be possible, right? And there are thin boundaries, like it has to be, say, account aggregator, it has to be DigiLocker, or again as Aadhaar. So, but if we keep what's meant for what, we would have our own answers. And even in terms of the flows we talked about, like, can we replace PIN with something else? Again, we need to question what is the problem statement that we are allowing a user to enter into the DigiLocker account. We are trying to prove who is the person who is trying to access. And then there can be multiple answers for that. Like it can be like what you have, what you know, and what you are. So instead of PIN, it can be something else. It could be a face verification. So that's how we need to think about it in terms of enhancements on the platform. Same, like this is some of the examples, like entity locker, what kind of use cases it has unlocked, and we need to think again that what kind of problems can be solved when different kind of data sources can be plugged in. And we will have our own answers, that it would be a DigiLocker problem or it would be account aggregator problem. And the more I think we need to keep in mind is the DPIs were created for financial inclusion. It's a convenience for people like us, but there were people who did not even have access to any of these offerings that are there in the market. If you go back 10 years back in time, Tier 4 was completely inaccessible for financial services, and the real impact is there. So now there are a lot of opportunities that can be done, and this is just a food for thought for everyone, one of us, that when we expect a platform to do something, what are the boundary lines and what are the possibilities? Thank you. Any questions, anything?
Thank you, sir, for your presentation. It is my pleasure to now invite Shri J.L. Gupta ji, Director NAGD, to present a token of appreciation to our distinguished speaker. May we have a round of applause, please? Thank you, sir. Finally, we are delighted to welcome our last speaker for the session, Shri Shamim Jalil, Director at VFS Global, who will speak on document verification and visa processing via DigiLocker, highlighting how trusted digital credentials are transforming global immigration and visa services.
Hi all, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. So, thank you Karan and team to give this opportunity. I'll introduce myself. I'm Shamim Jalil. I represent an organization called VFS Global. I think most of you have heard of our organization one time or the other to apply for visas. So I'm here in a very different perspective. I think I've been invited to give you not the success stories of what all the other speakers have done. I'm more giving you a concept story. So let's go through a video, which for me it's more important.
For all legal and official documents that stores original documents from the issuing bodies.
Can you just go back a little? I think it's started from the half. Yeah. So
paper has served the world well.
Yep, please.
But its time is up. When it comes to communication, records and even money, the world has gone paperless. But when it comes to legal documents, there is no escaping paper. Till now. Presenting Docs Wallet from VFS Global. A digital wallet that leverages the power of API integration or blockchain. Now the Docs Wallet user can securely share a digitally verified document to any institution across the globe. Picture the Docs Wallet as a digital safe deposit locker for all legal and official documents that stores original documents from the issuing bodies and allows users to share those with organizations with complete convenience and security. Consider a person applying for a visa for further studies or migration. As soon as the document is deposited by the educational institution, it is hashed into the blockchain. Now in digital storage, the document can be shared with the authorized users or requesting parties. Or picture a scenario where a merchant is exporting medicines abroad. Multiple stakeholders can access secure and verified documents at various stages, remotely and without intervention, making the process convenient and super fast. The blockchain technology involved in Docs Wallet uses cryptography encryption, where security is enhanced via mass collaboration. Anyone can verify and audit transactions independently, which makes it efficient, secure, transparent, saves money, and prevents fraud. To individuals, it offers complete control over the documents, giving them the power of consent, secure storage, and fast sharing. With Docs Wallet, VFS Global has added another arrow in its quiver of services, an arrow that hits the mark in every situation.
Thank you.
Paper has served the world.
Thank you for that. So I think my presentation is almost done in such a way to make a concept clear to all of you. Docs Wallet as a background, as I told you, I am Shamim. I represent this concept called Docs Wallet. Is my voice clear to all? Yes. Yeah. So what we have done, we have created again nothing less than a wallet system, which is primarily going to be used for visa purposes. And this has been there for the last couple of years, but we have been into a different ecosystem of just document verification when students need to go abroad for transcripts and other purposes. So currently, if you look at this concept, what I've shown you, we as an organization, I'll just take you through a presentation also. Then I'll tell you what are the number of, I'm here to actually discuss a problem statement where the other participants and speakers have given you a lot of solution statement. So I'll tell you what exactly we do. I think we are there as a global organization across more than 165 countries. We have done more than 514 million of visa applications. That number is important there because I'm going to tell you the number of papers would have come to that office. So anyone who's been to VFS office definitely will have to carry a bunch of bank statements, your personal documents. We don't spare anyone. Rather, we don't spare because we've been asked to do that by our partnered embassies. So here what we have done, we have created an ecosystem called again a VFS wallet, calling it as Docs Wallet. And we are trying to now look at associating, we have already been associated with DigiLocker for quite some time, but very unfortunately, whatever solutions we've gone back and shown to our embassies, things have been very slow back there. That is the only reason why you will have to go with your physical documents till now to VFS. So what we're looking forward is again something which this team, this set of experts sitting here, including the government authorities, to work with us, where we would take your DigiLocker digital document solutions back to our partnered embassies. We almost have 69 governments partnered with us. And we also have a digitization point in the contracts which we do with our consulates, with our UK, US, Schengen, all embassies. But if you ask me the success ratio of giving a digital document, I would call it 0.01%. So this is where we are trying to work with banks. As I told you, mine was a concept PPT. My success PPT would come 3 years from now, 2 years from now, when I could tell that, hey, my banks are now digitally sourced. Bank statements could be sent to UK embassy. My insurance, travel insurance could be given to the Schengen. Schengen is very particular about the travel insurance when you travel, right? So, but I need to give that physically as a paper. Whether the bank would, whether the embassies would verify that behind the scenes, they've not, we know about it, but they never tell anyone about it, right? You will be waiting for your visas, that's it. So visa time could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks. What they do, they have a dipstick study to do some verification for few. And that is the reason for your visa delays, which is the reason why I'm here to give you this concept. This technology is built. I'm one of the founder of this technology, giving a background. We've been based in IIT Madras for 10 years. And thankfully, VFS acquired this technology. So I think I've been working with DigiLocker for the last 10, 12 years. But this is only used as a very minimalist use case back only for transcript sharing to few countries. But I think the opportunity is in millions. See, this numbers gives you that. So just as a process, just to tell you what we are trying to do, you're all part of this particular site where you want to travel, you want to go for your visas, which is done through VFS. And here where we have already done the integration with DigiLocker, We are able to pull bank statements, we are able to pull educational documents, but a very few use case is happening through Docs Wallet, VFS Docs Wallet. This is where we request definitely DigiLocker team and the integrated banks, integrated universities to work in such a way tomorrow our paperless visa submission process could also be successful. And I'm telling you, this is not yet started. So here we want this to happen, and we have met very senior authorities of the government. We have been assured that this is one use case DigiLocker team wants to present here to see how we all can work to ensure all of our visas could also become paperless. And I'm telling you one fact, what we have realized, when we go back to such digital use cases, back to embassies, believe me or not, India as a country stand at its peak adoption of digital ecosystems. And we don't see that back in consulate embassies in India or even the UKVI back in UK. They always tell us, no, let's go for the physical document. We'll do our check in back end in our offices, which is the reason why we are telling, you are taking a lot of time to issue the visa, right? So if I'm able to give, I had a chat today, and I've got a perspective that why can't we have a pre-credential defined for UK visa within DigiLocker? So when you apply, push that. You need 3 months bank statement. There's no insurance for UK. You need your ID. You need your address proof. Imagine this is coming from the DigiLocker, and it gets pushed when you are giving. Similar to what you're doing for your passport, right? I don't think you're taking a paper when you're applying or when you are even renewing a passport. You just need to integrate DigiLocker and you go just paperless. This is what we look forward. So my reason to be here as a vast fintech speaker is to give you this use case, which is going to be very helpful going forward. And this is what we're trying to do. Yeah, we already have some legacy verifications integrated with some 300 universities, which if DigiLocker is not giving, we can send it to them directly. That concept is also there with Docs Wallet. And yes, this is where we have integrated. So it's a multi-layer of any level of documents could be sourced through API, non-API, also through Docs Wallet. Again, it's completely secure. The flow which everybody will understand. I need not explain this. And we have, like any wallet system which was explained today, we are in the same secure context with the global acceptability. Where we are looking at connecting the DigiLocker of India for the citizens of India more to the global global world. So yes, why blockchain? We want to increase our acceptability within the embassies. So recently we've done the first embassy, UAE consulate, accepting the documents via Docs Wallet from DigiLocker, which is just done 2 months back. Why? Because we were able to show them a blockchain integration also. So I was just telling somebody in DigiLocker team why embassies may not come directly to DigiLocker, because they have some legal framework in between, which government of India entities may not be able to provide. And that is where we now gave this DigiLocker blockchain to UAE consulate. And now students can now apply for documents through Docs Wallet. A very simple wallet screen for your documents. Primarily used for, now DigiLocker is there. WES, if you have heard of World Education Service, correct? So we are integrated with World Education Service, which is our 50% of our revenue which comes and what we do. Why blockchain? Again, it's the acceptability between different governments, and we don't know. Some governments will ask blockchain, some governments will ask ABC, which we would integrate back with what DigiLocker is. So international acceptance of DigiLocker documents is what VFS is trying to work with, and we have already presented to the Irish government, which now accepts DigiLocker. Just to tell you that if you're going for Ireland visa, DigiLocker document is part of the checklist within the visa processing system. So that's it. Hope my presentation was clear. Yeah, and as I told you, it's just a last presentation to give you a heads up that what we are looking forward. Unlike all my speakers, we're giving documents which would have done in millions and billions. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Thank you, Shamimji. Thank you, Shamimji, for an enjoyable presentation. May I now call upon Shri Nirmit Mehrotra ji to kindly present a token of appreciation to Shamim ji for his valuable contribution to today's session. Thank you, Nirmal. As we wrap up this engaging session, I extend my heartfelt thanks to all the speakers and a patient audience. Your contributions to the session have inspired fresh perspectives on driving digital innovation and making governance more connected, inclusive, and citizen first. We now request everyone to kindly proceed to the Summit Hall for the outcome summary session. Let's continue the dialogue there. Thank you so much. May I invite all the speakers to come on the dais? Sir, Gupta sir, please. Nirmit, Karan, please.
Samrat. Samrat. Angela,
You also come now, please.
All, please. Krithvi, आ जाओ सब लोग आ जाओ.
आगे पीछे. तो
सेकंड लेवल में जाते हैं.
सर मुझे बोला क्या था?
क्या होगा ना कि कोई नहीं रहेगा, अभी तो यहीं पर क्वेश्चन का ये खत्म कर लेते हैं. प्रॉब्लम क्या है ना कि नाउ मोमेंटम खत्म हो गया.
सर हाई टी
आप यहाँ कर सकते थे, किसने कहा?
ये अनाउंस करनी वो अजय सर ने मैसेज किया ना कि वो आपने
क्वेश्चन आंसर से नहीं आ सकते, वहाँ पे प्रेजेंटेशन तो वहीं होगी ना.
दोनों वही सर प्रेजेंटेशन क्या है सर, वो बनी हुई है.
नहीं, क्लोजिंग रिमार्क्स में 4 वो क्लर्क्स हैं ना, इधर में 4 to 5 है ना.
नहीं ना, दो नहीं. What is the plan? वो गुलाल फटाफट करो.
सर आपका 4:30 बजे का सेशन है ऊपर.
खत्म करो ना, यहीं से क्वेश्चन आंसर ऐसे खत्म कर लेते हैं.
ठीक है.
Dear all, we are continuing with the question answer session. Kindly stay back. हाँ, exactly.
जो लंदन से बोला उसमें ऑलरेडी मेंशन किया ना, ऑलरेडी इसमें दे देना.
अरे यार, 2 रूम नहीं होना चाहिए. सिर्फ प्रमोशन मत करो.
बार बार मैं कह रहा एस्केलेशन आ रहा है उनके सारे रुक गए जल्दी डायरेक्ट यूर में चाह रहा था एक्चुअली इलेक्शन में भी करा था फिर भी वो पता नहीं कर रहा